So in no particular order, I would like to ask our panelists to commence with their presentations. So I'm just going to call a random name. I'm going to call randomly from the group. So if we could start off with Winston Coley of Durham University.
Sure.
I hope you're okay with going first, Winston.
No problem at all. The only thing I was thinking is I didn't realize there was going to be so many panelists. So my presentation is pretty long. So I'll have to just whiz through it.
Okay.
Because otherwise I'll take up the whole hour and a half, and that's not fair to the rest of the panelists.
Don't go beyond 10 minutes.
No problem at all. I'll go through the key points. So if you bear with me, I'm just going to share my screen, okay?
That's fine.
Let me know when you're able to see the
Yes,
screen.
thank you. We can see. Yes,
fantastic. So before I get into the presentation, I just want to give you a bit of introduction to myself as to what I do in terms of my partnership with Durham University. So I work for Study Group, which is one of the leading pathway providers across the world. So we provide well, pathway programs into the UK universities, Europe universities, and some across Australia and America as well. I look after 6 of our key strategic partners, Durham being one of them. So I look after the recruitment into the actual International Study Centre and also support with the direct entry as well. So with the direct entry, we allow some of our key agents to also recruit for these programs. So although the actual applications still go through UCAS and direct to the university for review, I'm there to support on hand for that as well. Now, just going into Durham University, so the presentation that I did have planned, it was going to go through just in terms of where we are situated within the UK and why I choose Durham University. I'll talk you through the International Study Centre, some of the key schools, COVID-19 and the impact, which I'm sure some of you are all waiting for updates on. Life at the university, and then we'll go into the Q&A. I suppose the structure will probably be at the end where they can ask their questions. So I'll go through it as quickly as I can. So Durham University is located in northeast of England. The city is roughly around 80,000 people, approximately around 20,000 students reside within the city itself. The university has 2 campuses, so the Queen's campus and the Durham City campus. Queen's campus is where the International Study Centre is situated for the foundation programme, and the City campus is where the direct entry is for undergraduate and postgraduate programmes. In terms of its proximity to some of the major cities, you can see on the presentation. So you can see roughly around just over 3 hours from London, around well, just under 3 hours from Edinburgh. You've got other major cities like Manchester, etc. That's quite close proximity, or not too far to travel from or travel to from the actual city itself. Now, Durham University is a Russell Group. So for those of you that's not aware what a Russell Group University is a group of the top 24 research-led universities within the UK. These universities are known for academic excellence. They receive a tremendous amount of funding in regards to their research impact and the actual the research that they conduct within the university and towards their actual specific programs as well. The university was established in 1832, making it one of the third oldest university within England, and it's got a long history of welcoming students, academics from all over the world, and very diverse. It's been one of the top 10 universities for over 11 years, and 90% of its subjects are ranked within the UK top 10 as well, and it's also one of the world top 100 universities. In terms of employability, it's one of the top 40 in terms of employer reputation. Now, in terms of the subjects that are ranked within the UK top 10, students that study at the actual International Study Centre have around just over 40 different degrees that they can progress into at the university. So within the International Study Centre, we help to improve English language skills. We teach students about the academic subjects relevant to their university degree that they progress into. And we also introduce the students into the university style of teaching and their independent learning as well. For students that arrive to study at the study centre, as well as the university, we do offer pickups for those students as well from the Newcastle airport, which is quite close to the university. Now, in terms of how the International Study Centre works for students progressing into the university, so for example, students will study at the study centre via the programs at the Queen's campus. They'll then move on to the Durham City campus, where they'll move in, progress into, if they do foundation year, then they'll move into the undergraduate, or if they do a pre-masters, they'll move into their postgraduate study at the university, and then obviously with the aim to graduate with a successful degree at the end of their actual studies. International Study Centre, one of the things that we incorporate in our programs is Career Ahead. It's a part of all the programs. This is basically helping the students and helping the students understand what life is going to be like when they build a career after university beyond their graduation. We help them to ensure that they are employable once they leave the university, just so that we ensure that the students are already made for when they can apply for any jobs post graduation with the university itself. Now, the programs offered at International Study Centre is the foundation year and the pre-masters, which I'll go into a little bit later. I'm going to skip some of these as well as I go along. Apologies, because there was a couple of videos in here. So the foundation year, so there's 3 routes that students can choose from. You've got business, economics, accounting, and finance. They've got humanities, law, and social sciences, and then they've got science and engineering as well. Now, depending on where the students are coming from, they like, we just require academically, we expect them to have good high school graduation grades, as well as a UKVI IELTS of 5.5, 5.5 in reading, and no skill minimum 5.4 in 5.0 in all other areas. Now, there's 3 terms, and it's 2 intakes, so September and January. Students that don't quite meet the actual English requirements can also apply to study one of our English language programs, which are available as well for them. In terms of some of the key programs that they can progress into, you can see them listed here. So you've got accounting and finance, accounting and management, marketing and management. These are some of the bigger programs, the more, so the ones that I'll say have honorary mention, because the business school is quite well known and quite well ranked in terms of what they provide for the actual students. So I'll talk a little bit more in detail about that a little bit later. The other directions are humanities, law, and social sciences. You can see the actual degrees that students can progress into. So this is progressing into the international foundation year, from the international foundation year into their first year of graduate studies, not graduate, sorry, their undergraduate studies. You can see the programs that are ranked quite highly. So you've got English, geography ranked within the top 10, history, theology, and religious studies, classics and ancient history all ranked within the top 10 within the UK as well. Now, with science and engineering, again, you've got some highly ranked programs to progress into, such as chemistry, physics and astronomy, mathematics, geology, computer science. For pre-masters that we do at the International Study Centre, there are 2 routes to choose from, consisting of 2-term and 3-term programs. For students that have a good academic IELTS, they can progress onto the 2-term program. For students that have slightly lower, they can progress into the actual 3-term program. And for those students that don't quite meet the English requirements, we do have an English prep program for PMP as well for pre-masters. In terms of the intakes, again, we've got the January intake and also the September intake as well. The January intake, for 2-term program, you only can do the January intake, but for 3 terms, you can do both September and January as well. Now, here's some of the actual master's programs that you can progress on to. Once you study the business, economics, accounting, and finance, PMP. As mentioned, the University Business School is quite well ranked. It's triple accredited, so it's well accredited by AMBA, EQUIS, and AACSB. This means that the actual degree program is recognized globally. So that's fantastic for any students, and it gives great prospects for any students that study one of these programs. For science and engineering, you can see the masters that you can progress into as well. The general engineering is ranked 5th in the UK. Computer science is ranked 8th, as mentioned earlier, and the Department of Mathematics. So basically 84% of the research overall is considered internationally excellent at our mathematics and mathematical sciences program. So you can see this is where the Russell Group comes into effect in terms of the funding that they have in terms of developing their programs, etc., in terms of research. Now, some key information about the business school. So in terms of the triple accreditation, it is quite an elite group to be a part of. There's less than 1% of the world's 3,500 business schools hold that triple accreditation. So you can see that the business school is quite a great prospect for any students looking to study business. And you can see the connections that they have in terms of international organizations such as Santander, KPMG, Vodafone, of which I used to actually work for Vodafone before moving into international recruitment. So they're a great company, and KPMG and Deloitte as well. And in terms of the programs, as I mentioned, here's undergraduate and postgraduate programs that you can progress into. Apologies for doing it so quickly. Again, for the Q&A session at the end, feel free to ask any questions or anything that I may have missed. I'll just go through. So you've got the law school as well. So one of the key things with the law school, which I thought I'll mention, is that it's quite a competitive program. So we reach the cap quite quickly. So any students that's interested in studying this program and get an offer, it's key that you confirm as soon as possible. That's the same with the business management as well, in terms of the competitive nature of the actual programs for access. The law school has recently had a 48.4 million building development. So this is a really state-of-the-art facility located within the campus. That's the Durham City campus. So if any students that progress from the actual foundation will be studying within this center, you can see it's ranked third best for research excellence. In terms of the QS rankings, it's a top 40 law school as well. And then one of the honorary mentions is the general engineering program at Durham as well. So one of the key statistics here is 92% of graduates were in employment or further study within 6 months with an average salary of £28,000. That's after graduating from the actual university studying general engineering. So I thought I'll mention that in there as well. And again, it's ranked 5th in the UK according to the Complete University Guide. And you got all the actual accreditations below as well in terms of the Institution of Mechanical Engineers, IAT and ICE. Now, in terms of the COVID-19 situation, so one of the key things, this is just to make you aware, this is what we introduced at the International Study Centre. First of all, so to be clear, one of the key things that we've updated is our actual refunds policy. Now, everyone is unsure of what's going to happen in terms of whether it will be face-to-face study or online study, but we're working with the university and we've put contingency in place for the International Study Centre for if we were to move online. So if we were to move online for any students, we can't start face-to-face in September, we have introduced a 21-day trial period for these students for online study. So what this is basically any students, we know that online study can be difficult because you need quite a bit of self-motivation. Sometimes maybe the internet connection may not be great and you realize that it's a bit of a struggle getting onto the lectures, etc. We are offering a 21-day trial for our students that are starting at the International Study Centre. What this means is that you get to trial the course for 21 days. If you're unhappy or you feel like you don't really want to continue with online, we do offer a full refund for those students of all the fees paid, and you can either defer your place till next year for when we hopefully will be on campus, if it is that we start online this year, or you can cancel your actual application with us and cancel your place. We also have a visa refund guarantee. So as expected, there may be some students that, for example, start online but may not qualify to get a visa once it moves to face-to-face study. So we do have a visa refund guarantee. So any students that start online and for some reason or another they can't progress onto campus, for example, if the visa has been rejected, we offer in a full refund as well for those students as well. So this is beyond the 21-day trial period. This is when it goes on to face-to-face if we do not start face-to-face and we start as online. Okay, and then once the students move on to campus, it would be as normal in terms of your face-to-face studies. I have mentioned there is a mention of a Prepare for Success program. That's something we've included separately for any students that confirm before the end of June. So basically what we've introduced at the study centre is a program whereby students, it's 100 hours of online learning whereby students get to learn certain life skills, they get to get prepped for the upcoming program, just to ensure that they have a competitive advantage of any other students that's starting as well within the international foundation year. So this is available for any students that pay their confirmation and their first term fee before the end of June, which is available from study group, part of the International Study Centre. Now, I'll just quickly whiz through the campus itself. So the Queen's campus is where the International Study Centre is located. It's a modern, purpose-built site situated within the waterfront as well. Great facilities for the students that are studying their foundation year. We've got various information in terms of sport, accommodation. There's 2 student residences that they can choose from. Guideline rent is around between £145 to £160 per week. It's close to, well, walking distance, around 10 minutes from the shopping centre. So you've got locality in terms of shopping centre, etc., that students can enjoy. Although Northeast is quite a rural area as well. So although you've got your shopping centres, you have got your tremendous amount of green, etc., that they can visit in terms of local parks. Various different events that are available within Durham as well that they can take part in, sports events and museums, etc., for them to enjoy whilst they're not studying in their free time as well. This was a video, but I'm just going to cut past that. And in terms of your progression into your degree, so this is Durham City Campus. So it's home to the Bill Bryson Library, which has over 1,200 study spaces and group study rooms. Is a modern facility as well, and state of the art. There's fantastic facilities in terms of the Maiden Castle at the city's at the Durham City Campus, and also it's home to where the business school is. And one of the things that students are a part of once they progress into the actual degree is the colleges. So you may have seen this in movies like Harry Potter is probably the most familiar movie, where you see students are part of like Gryffindor and Silts, like Gryffindor and the other one, Slytherin. I'm not a massive Harry Potter fan, but I know it's one of the things that students will be most familiar with. So basically we introduce a collegiate system. So it's almost like your home family. You get to do events with them. You stay within dorms where you allocate one of these colleges as well. So it helps the student adjust to life within the university. You also got a mentor that helps you throughout your whole time studying at the university as well. In terms of the events, as I mentioned, so you've got like summer walks, some summer and winter balls. You've got a musical and theatre evenings that you can take part in as well. And this was a video, but I'll cut that off as well for you because I know we are stressed for time. But some of the key thing here is, so in terms of the university itself for direct entry and UG, PG students, so the aim is obviously to be face-to-face. That we will hope. We have to go by what the UK government is saying in terms of whether we can open the campuses. At the moment, the discussions is that we will go towards possibly a blended approach of learning. So this will be a part of partly or partially online and partially face-to-face as well. Certainly the more larger theatres and larger lectures will probably be online, whereas the smaller ones will probably be face-to-face where they have less students. But again, we have to go by what the government is telling us and informing us in terms of what we can do moving forward. So at the moment in time, you could say we are set up for online, so your studies will not be delayed as in fact. So basically in September, you will be studying with us. It's just that it'll be a case of whether it will be online or face-to-face. We are set up for both circumstances. Okay.
Thank you very much for your presentation, Winston. I think you stuck to the 10 minutes, so thank you.
Yeah, sorry.
For that. No, that's fine. Okay then, so can we please have Charlie Greenwood of University of Kent go next?
Hi, good morning. I'm just going to share my screen with you. Bear with me just a moment.
That's fine.
Sorry, this is always the best bit of a Zoom call, isn't it? Watching people try to get the technology sorted out.
Yes.
Okay, do you have access to my screen now?
Yes, we do.
Perfect. So I'm going to skip through some of these pretty quickly and hopefully leave some time for questions if anybody does have any questions at all about anything that we said. So first off, just starting with welcome to the University of Kent, telling you a little bit about where we are. So Kent is a region in the southeast of the UK. We've got two campuses in the UK for our students, one in Canterbury and one in Medway. You can see on the map there. Medway campus is very close to London. It's only about 35 minutes by train, and the Canterbury campus is also less than an hour away from London as well. Now, Kent also has campuses on mainland Europe. We have a campus in Brussels in Belgium, and we have a campus in Paris in France. Those are postgraduate campuses, and we teach specific subjects there that are really enhanced by their locations in those European cities. So if anyone's got questions about those afterwards, then you can let me know and I can always tell you a little bit more about those. The majority of our teaching does happen in the UK, and it does happen on our Canterbury campus and our Medway campus. For our undergraduate students, those are the only options, but there are plenty of options if they'd like to study overseas, if they'd like to get some additional opportunities to actually broaden out their degrees and get some overseas study experience too. So as I mentioned, we're a campus university. A few images there of the Canterbury campus, also Canterbury City. So hopefully you can get a little bit of an idea of what it's like. Canterbury's a very old city, it's a very traditional location. The university itself, the campus itself is actually quite modern. The university was founded in 1965. So the facilities that we have for our students are all state-of-the-art, purpose-built student facilities. That goes from the accommodation through to the labs, the lecture theatres, absolutely everything. You're not far away from the city when you're a student with us at Kent. Likewise, because it's a campus, all the facilities that our students need on a day-to-day basis are actually there, really easily accessible. So they've got shops, restaurants, cafes, a bank, a medical centre, all of the sports facilities, cinemas, pretty much everything that they need. At the same time, it's not far to get into the city, and it's not far to go to London either. So if they want to explore the UK a little bit more widely, if they want to explore Europe a little bit more widely, then they're really, really well connected. Why Kent? These are just a few sort of stats and fast figures. We're quite well known for having a really good balance of international students and students from very different backgrounds in the UK as well. You can see from these numbers here, we have quite a few overseas students. We have a lot of overseas academic staff as well, so they're very, very supportive of our overseas students. Students coming from 159 different nationalities this year, so that's quite a good selection of students. So be studying with people from right around the world, and also lots and lots of opportunities to broaden out studies. As you can see there, we've got links with 400 institutions around the world, which allow students study placements and exchanges, as well as having more incoming students mixing in with our standard student population. We've also been ranked as a TEF Gold University for the quality of our teaching. TEF is the Teaching Excellence Framework, and if you'd like to know any more about that and that metric and what that means, then you can always ask a question at the end. This is a little bit of an overview, and this is just a very small selection of the areas that we teach at the university. We're quite a large multi-faculty university. We cover subjects in the humanities, sciences, and the social sciences as well. Don't want to go into every single one in too much detail, but some of the areas that tend to be of particular interest with students coming from Nigeria in particular are our law school. There's a very good reputation for teaching law. It's ranked as one of the top 50 in QS World Rankings for teaching law, and that's worldwide. And I'd also mention that we have a new medical school that's just opening this year as well, so that's quite an exciting development for us. We'll be welcoming some international students into that programme as well, so it is possible to study medicine in the UK as an international student at Kent, if that's something that you're looking for. Accommodation is available on campus, and it's actually guaranteed for all of our first year students. It's also guaranteed for all of our foundation students. So if you are going to be coming to the UK to study a foundation straight after WIAC, then students have guaranteed accommodation for both their foundation year and the first year of their undergraduate studies. That means they'll be living no more than a 10-minute walk away from where their lecture theatres are, where all of their teaching activities going on, but also the sports facilities. It's a really easy way to meet students on the campus. It's a really easy way to get settled into university in the UK and settled into the city and the local area as well, because everything that they need on a day-to-day basis is available on the campus. Lots of different choices of accommodation to suit different people's budgets and to suit different people's preferences in terms of whether they want to have catered or self-catered accommodation, in terms of whether they'd like a room with its own bathroom, if they're happy to share. And we can go through all of that in more detail. We've also got lots of online tours available as well, so you can get a really good idea of exactly what that accommodation looks for before making your mind up. Quickly go on to student support and facilities, because this is one of the areas in which Kent really excels. It's actually looking after and supporting our students once they've joined the university, once they've actually come to Canterbury or come to Medway and started studying with us. It can be a transition period, students going from school to a university environment, and we really want to make sure that students are fully supported throughout that whole process and that it's not too much of a shock to their system. Each student is assigned an academic advisor for each year to help them look after any academic concerns they might have. We have Kent Union, which looks after all of their social support. We have pastoral care as well, to make sure that their sort of mental health and well-being are taken care of as well, that they're able to settle in, get used to a new environment of study at university. And we have full international student support as well. We have specific international support teams for our new students coming in from overseas, because they're getting used to living in the UK as well as getting used to that university environment. We just want to make sure there are plenty of opportunities for them to seek support if they need it, but also lots and lots of pre-arranged programs to make sure that they're meeting new people, getting settled into the new way of life, and also being educated about what life is like in the UK and how to go about their day-to-day activities. Outside the classroom, this just touches on some of the additional facilities and additional clubs and societies and things that we've got available for students. I won't dwell on this too much, but the university experience is not just about what goes on inside the classroom, it's also about what students are doing in their free time, the kinds of skills that they're building outside of the classroom as well. So that's really important for them to take into consideration. But lots of different clubs, lots of different societies where students can build all sorts of useful skills that they can put on their CV, and all sorts of different ways for them to meet new people and settle in at university as well. A few important details. This is talking a little bit about entry requirements. Entry requirements do vary from course to course. So certain courses will ask for higher grades than others. For example, the medicine course asks for very specific grades, specific subjects at A-level. Other courses, it's possible to do a foundation. So students from Nigeria can come straight to the university through the foundation route onto almost all of our courses. So they can go straight from WIAC to the foundation without having to do A-levels if they don't want to. Mentions quickly our fees in there. They vary from 16,200 up to 19,800 for our standard courses. Some courses do have non-standard costs. That does include things like pharmacy or medicine. So if you'd like more information about that, then please do ask. We do have some scholarships available at Kent. The international student scholarships, which are worth £8,000 per year of study. Also some for A-level students or IB students who've done particularly well in their exams, and those are worth £2,000 the first year of their study. A little bit about our COVID response. So this is of course incredibly important at the moment, and the first thing to note is that the most important thing for us is keeping our students safe and keeping our staff safe. So everything that we're doing at the moment is to ensure that people can start their studies or complete their studies in an environment that's not going to compromise on their health and well-being. At the moment, we are going to be starting in September, as per our usual start dates, but most of the teaching we're going to be doing is either going to be online or blended. So blended learning means that students will be having their lectures online, so there aren't going to be 200, 250 students sitting in one room at any time. They'll have those delivered online, and they will still do some small group learning. So if they have practical sessions, lab sessions, seminars, those are still going to be face-to-face, but we're also at the moment working on making that available online as well. So if students can't arrive for any reason in September, perhaps there are still travel restrictions in place, then that's not going to be an issue and they can still start their studies on time. Then they can come to the UK when they've got the ability to travel. Just include some resources here, and I'm sure we can share these presentations with the staff at Newby afterwards, so these are available. It's really important to us what our students say, and we think that's really important to our new students as well. So we've got lots of resources online that allow you to speak directly to current students at Kent, also to read profiles, find out more about what people say too. And with everything that's going on at the moment, we've also started running a lot more virtual events. So we've got a virtual open day coming up on the 4th of July for our undergraduate students. If anyone would like to take place in that, then you can register online through the links here. All my contact details as well, my email address, my WhatsApp. So if there's anything that you'd like to know, you can get in touch with me afterwards. Okay, that's the end of that presentation.
Thank you so much for your presentation.
Sorry, that was a bit long.
No, it was fine. Thank you. So if we could go on to Coventry University, Omomi Agunloye.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, Omomi.
Hi, okay. Yes, okay, just give me 1 second, please.
That's fine.
Okay. Right. I don't know, can you all see me? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with my, I'm having some issues with my network here.
No, we
can't see your screen.
I'm just getting to that. I'm so sorry.
Okay, we
I've
can
been
see
battling
you now.
with it for a while. Okay, you can see me now. Okay, okay, that's good.
I can see you now, yeah.
Okay, so let me just
okay. Because your video will come on. We can see you.
Can you see my screen now?
Not yet. It's
not
coming
yet.
on.
Yes, it says you started screen share.
Yes.
Okay,
Great,
brilliant.
we can see it.
Okay, hi everyone once again. My name is Omo Omeagloye. I'm based in Nigeria office working for Coventry University. So I'm sure you all know Coventry. You know, we are all, hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, yes, sorry about that. Okay, so for us at Coventry, we are all for everybody. We are student focused. We are all out to make everybody enjoy their time with us, and then we are putting measures in place for everything to work out for students. We know it takes a lot for parents to send their students down to us and their kids down to us. So we ensure their safety, we ensure we look after them. So for Coventry University, you know, we have different campuses. We have the Coventry campus, we have the London campus, and then we have the Scarborough campus, as we have our college. You know, we have Coventry University and we also have the college. So Coventry University, we have the postgraduate studies, we have the undergraduate studies as well. For the colleges, which is majorly undergraduate studies, I'll come to that. For the postgraduate courses, we have the London campus and the Coventry campus, where we have students coming for different all sorts of courses, ranging from sciences, business, arts and design, and engineering. So yeah, if I should move. So yeah, for us at Coventry, we have 3 intakes. We have the January, we have the May, and the September intake. You know what happened to the entire world, and then for us at Coventry University, for our May intake, we had to make fast decision, so we swapped to the online option for the May intake, and then so far so good. We had Nigerians for that option. Like we were, you know, initially you are thought, oh, Africans are not like prone to change, they don't want change, but surprisingly they were okay with the online option, and then so far it's been a good one. We had quite a number of students from Africa, from Nigeria, from Ghana, go on for the online option for May, while some are saying, okay, no, we'll wait and see what happens for September. So our next intake now is a September intake, which is open to all campuses, our Coventry campus, London campus, and then the Scarborough campus. Okay. Like I said, we have 4 faculties, which is Arts and Humanities, Business and Law, Health and Life Sciences, and then Engineering, Computing and Environment. So, right, our entry requirements for undergraduate courses, we accept WAEC, NECO, GCE for direct entry into year 1. So, for instance, if you are 16 years old with A's and B's in your WAEC, you can go direct into year 1 with that. That's as in you need for foundation, you need for A levels with your A's and B's in WAEC, in NECO or GCE. You can go directly into year 1 with us at Coventry University. Like I said, 16 is the minimum age requirement for that. And then because for us at Coventry University, we know that some students, even though they don't have A's and B's, with their C's, they're brilliant. If they have that extra attention, extra focus, extra time given to them, they will do better in school. So those such students, we take them into our colleges, which is Coventry University, CU Coventry, and CU Scarborough. So even though when parents hear colleges, they get fond of. But the thing is, the truth is that it's at the end of it's a degree program. At the end of the 3 years, they get the same certificate with those who went to the university itself. Because the mode of operation is quite different. So, like me as a person, I like food. So I use food to explain this. So for instance, you know, jollof rice, you know, fried rice, you know, it's prepared differently, but in actual sense, you are consuming calories, consuming carbohydrates, and eating rice. So at the end of the day, you are still eating carbohydrates, you are still eating rice, but it was made differently. So that's how it is. At Coventry University, at CU Coventry, they have different ways of learning, different methods of learning, but at the end of the 3-year degree program, they get the same certificate. So it's a matter of choice. They have different entry requirements. Then for our postgraduate courses, which we have at our Coventry University campus and also at London campus, once you have a 7 class lower, that's 2 minimum, you can get to do a degree at Coventry University. Coventry campus and another campus. And also we accept WAEC, GC, and ECO for the English assessment. So once you have a C6 in your WAEC for English, in your GCE for NECO, the C6, we can take you on board with that. Can you all see hear me, please?
Yes, we can.
Okay, brilliant, thank you. So like I said, so C6 in your English, in WAEC, NECO, GCE, you are good to go. And then for third classes, like third class case, we deal with case by case. For instance, some students might have third class maybe like 5 years ago, 7 years ago, but they've got work experience. So we deal with each person, we look at what you have, what you are bringing to the table, and then we offer what's best. So we us at Coventry, we don't turn anybody away, we accept everybody. Just that some cases we require extra other qualifications, extra documents to see what you have and then offer you what's best. Yeah, so this is so like it's a very short presentation anyway. So it's like a process. You apply, you fill the form, you get you an offer, you make deposit, and then you get your cars, you get the visa, and then you enroll. Just like a simple straight line thing. No drama, nothing whatsoever. Straight to the point, short and fast. So like I said, it's a very short one. But for us at Coventry, we know what we are facing in the entire world at the moment, and then, like I said at the beginning of the presentation, we are all out to ensure everybody's safety. So for now, for September, the plan is we are hoping that this ends soon, and then we can all have like our normal routine, our normal day-to-day life. So we are hoping that for September, we'll have it as usual, like everybody, students get to fly out to school and everything. But even at that, the measures are being put into place. No more big classroom learning, like into smaller groups, a lot of social distancing and everything in place. But if for any reason, if this doesn't get sorted out, and then we need to have a plan B, which is what we did for May students. So for instance, the students who are on the May study right now, they are having their first semester online. So we are hoping that by September they can fly out to the UK to Coventry to continue their second semester. But if for any reason it doesn't happen that way, if they're still in the lockdown and all of that, then they continue online. And we just take it a day as it goes, take it one step at a time and see. But for September, we are optimistic, we are hopeful that we students get to fly out to school. But if it doesn't happen that way, we go to the online option, and then once it's safe, once the whole world is healed, we can all come out and come together again for learning and for happy times. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Amalmi. So if we could move on to Melissa Gibson of the University of Southampton. Hi,
Hello.
Melissa, are you there?
I'm here. Sorry.
Great.
Got like a multi-screen thing going on, which means having to turn it on multiple screens. So, hello everyone. I will just bring my screen up, which should come up slightly separately.
Yes, you started screen. Okay, we can see your screen.
Excellent. So my name is Melissa Gibson. I'm the Regional Director for the Middle East and Africa. My colleague Abiodun Moses is also on the call, who is our in-country officer in Nigeria. When looking at the University of Southampton, obviously everyone's been talking about where they're placed. We're delighted that today the QS World Rankings have come out for 2021, and we are now ranked 90th in the world. So that's a rise of 7 places, which we're obviously delighted with. And we've also risen to 17th in the Complete University Guide, making us a top 20 in all of the UK rankings as well. We are over 150 years old. This year we're actually celebrating 100 years on our Highfield campus, which obviously is something that we would have liked to have been celebrating physically on our campus, but instead we're doing a number of virtual events to commemorate the occasion. We have over 6,500 international students who come from over 130 different countries, and we're a founding member of the Russell Group and the Worldwide Universities Network as well. We have 7 campuses, 6 of which are based in the UK, 5 are around the city of Southampton, but we are still a campus-based university. Highfield is our largest site and is considered the heart of the university, unless you're an engineer, and then you would consider Boulderwood the heart of your experience, which is our innovation campus, where all of our engineering, our large-scale engineering, so mechanical, civil engineering are all taught on that site. We also have the University Hospital Southampton, which is the home of the Faculty of Medicine. It's been at the centre of a lot of the work the university's been doing linked to the UK's COVID response, which I'll talk about a bit later. But it really is a facility that we're fantastically proud of. We also have the Waterfront campus. We're incredibly well known for our ocean sciences and our marine biology courses, and we have the National Oceanography Centre where we teach those. The Avenue campus is the home of our humanities subjects, so applied linguistics, English, history, and those programmes. And we also have the Winchester campus, which is the home of our School of Art, where we have a number of Nigerian students already studying fashion and textile programmes, as well as fine art and fashion marketing. We also have a site in Malaysia, which is our ASEAN hub. A number of students are now considering applying there. From this September, students can study both engineering and business in Malaysia, whilst previously it was primarily an engineering hub for us. So that's a really exciting development. And for those who are listening, if they're interested in doing that, the fees in Malaysia are lower than they are in the UK, yet you still receive a University of Southampton UK degree. We have 5 faculties at the university. So we have Arts and Humanities, Engineering, Physical Sciences, Environmental Life Sciences, Medicine and Social Sciences. It would be quicker for me to tell you what we don't offer rather than what we do, based on the fact we have over 700 programmes. We don't do dentistry, we don't do veterinary science, and we don't do dramatic arts, but essentially everything else we do teach. We have foundation years. The difference at Southampton is that from many UK institutions is that our foundation years are actually integrated into the course. What that means primarily is that when students apply for our foundation going on to, for example, business or engineering, they would get a 4 or 5 year visa from the start of their course. That obviously is advantageous in terms of students not needing to return to Nigeria to apply for additional visas for the remainder of their course. But it also demonstrates that we would like to think that students who commence those courses, we have a very strong progression rate into our own year 1, because we don't accept students onto the foundation that we don't think are realistically going to progress any further. We obviously do undergraduate programs. We also have some pre-masters options, as well as a lot of postgraduate talks and master's programs, and also PhDs. In terms of applications, our international foundation year, it's actually possible to apply directly to the university for that course. For our science foundation or engineering foundation years, or any application directly for year 1, they must be submitted via UCAS. And we are still open for receiving those applications at this time. Pre-masters, masters and PhD courses are all made directly via our application portal on the university website. And all the links are contained within this presentation, which I can share with those who wish to have it afterwards. Our tuition fees are fixed for each year of the course. So whatever fee is paid for the first year, so year 1 of an undergraduate programme, or for a master's or PhD course, would be the same fee that is paid for the years that follow. The foundation courses are priced slightly lower, so there is a slightly lower cost there. And in terms of payments, students can either, or their families can either pay on enrolment, or they can pay in 3 instalments that are spread across the academic year. They can pay online or via bank transfer using the Western Union portal. And we understand that at the moment in Nigeria, there are some limitations on Forex, and banks are asking for additional documentation. So we are able to support that and provide the appropriate letters to ensure that the transfer is possible. In terms of scholarships, for postgraduate students, Chevening and Commonwealth scholarships, so the deadlines for 2020 were much earlier in this academic year, but we do have a number of students from Nigeria, and I'm delighted that of the shared scholars we're receiving this year, we have 6 shared scholars and 2 of them are Nigerian, so I'm delighted that that's the case. We also have a Wellcome Trust scholarship specifically for the Global Health programme. Our MBA scholarships are up to £9,000, and we've just announced that our postgraduate programmes, there'll be information coming out over the next 2 days regarding the start dates for those, which again I'll talk about in a moment. And we have automatic international merit scholarships at UG and PGT level, as well as receiving a number of PTDF and TEP Fund sponsored students. Our accommodation is guaranteed for all international students for the full duration of their course. So that's both foundation and undergraduate, so 4 or 5 years, and also master's studies as well. We have specific calls for undergraduates and postgraduates, so we ensure that people are placed together, and I'm sure people will have many questions about what that will look like this year, and we're working on how to best support students for that. In terms of wellbeing and safety, we have a range of support services available. We have 24-hour campus security, unlike many Nigerian campuses, which tend to be enclosed. Southampton's campuses are not enclosed. It's not an unsafe place to be at all, but we want to ensure that you feel safe whilst you're there. We have a fantastic Nigerian student community and a really active Nigerian student society who keep me well supplied with jollof rice throughout the year, which is always delightful. And we offer a free dedicated meet and greet service to all our international students from both London and Gatwick airports on their arrival. We have lots of opportunities for industry placements, year in employment, and also developing things with our students. So a number of our engineering students in particular tend to develop particular equipment and get patents on those. So we have a number of active patents supporting our students as well. We're committed to maintaining and growing our connections with Nigeria. I've already spoken about a number of the things that we're doing. We're building links with our higher education industry partners in Nigeria to ensure that our Nigerian alumni have not only a strong network, but good career opportunities when they return. And obviously Abiodun is our dedicated staff member based in Nigeria, so he can support with applications. Finally, looking at the university in 2020, we, as all UK universities are committed to ensuring the safety and well-being of both our current and new incoming students during this time of uncertainty. In terms of admissions, we understand that there are delays with WIAC and also obviously A-levels and IB and other qualifications. We are aware of these, and we're working with admissions to ensure that all students receive responses in a timely manner and also are treated fairly across all of those qualifications. We do have foundation options still available for students who wish to pursue those. In terms of English language, the good thing about our integrated foundation is that because it's integrated, we don't require a UK VI IELTS in order to commence the foundation studies. So there are options for students to undertake differing English language qualifications. For example, we accept Duolingo, which is possible for students to do at home, but we can also accept the WIAC and English proficiency letters from schools. So if there are any questions about that, I can provide the templates that are required. The university has announced we will be commencing our academic year on the 28th of September as we would normally. We will do as much face-to-face teaching as is safe and appropriate. So there will be some blended learning. It's unlikely that we will have large-scale lectures as students might expect, but we are expecting to be able to offer access to our laboratories and the physical requirements of those courses where that's relevant, as well as offering small-scale seminars in larger spaces to ensure social distancing measures are adhered to. For visa applications, we are still progressing with those as we'd expect, and we can provide the usual support. Students are preparing for their travel. We would ask that they continue to do that, and if they have any questions about arrival dates or what support we will provide when they arrive, to let us know. In terms of finance, there is student hardship funds currently being provided for our current students. The expectation would be that if students are already aware of their hardship, that they get in touch with us. So if people are aware of other students that we have, to make them aware of that. We would encourage people to follow our social media accounts where there's lots of updates. And we also have a dedicated applicants page for 2020 entry, which provides all of the updates on our announcements, as well as emailing them directly to any applicants and offer holders. And if you click on the link for our COVID response, which I'll send through, you can see all of the research that the university has been engaging in and supporting, including being part of the first human trial for a COVID vaccine, and also developing a personal respirator that's now being shared freely via open source around the world to support medical professionals in staying safe. That's it from me. Hopefully I kept just to my 10 minutes, I think. So there's the contact details there for Abby Oden, for myself. We also have a virtual open day taking place on the 24th of June that applicants and offer holders are welcome to join, as well as people considering 2021 entry. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Melissa. So if we could please have Halima Alawiye of Newcastle University.
Okay, hi everyone. Sorry I had to leave the meeting earlier because I had to change positions. Where I was really, really noisy. I'll just try and share my screen and also swap to video.
Okay.
Okay, can you guys see me?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. And are you able to see the screen now?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. So New Education know that I'm quite new. I only started in January, but usually David Lennon, who's my boss, would usually take this, but he's been double booked. So unfortunately, he can't be here. So I'm going to have to take the presentation. So I'll just be telling you why you should choose Newcastle, be talking about the university, the city, our students, and the journey very quickly. Newcastle University is a highly top-ranked university, a global top 150 university in the world, and top 5 UK university in the UK. We are part of the Russell Group. Newcastle University actually founded the Russell Group. We're also known for the Teaching Excellence Framework, and we've received gold in the past few years. Our partner foundation school is Into, and the good thing about this is Into is actually on campus, so students who don't necessarily get the grades to go on to the first year or the postgraduate course of their choice, they're able to go through Into, but also have that campus feel because Into Foundation School is right beside the Newcastle campus. For student satisfaction, we are top 5 in the UK and top 20 worldwide. This is actually in 2017. We're top 10 in the UK for graduate prospects. This is from the Times Good University Guide in 2019. We're really, really big on research, and we're 16th in the UK for research power. And we're actually top 20 most targeted universities by UK leading employers for research power. I'm just going to go through a few subject rankings. We're 4th in the UK for Earth and Marine Sciences. We're 5th in the UK for Chemical Engineering, and I've noticed most of our students who apply to Newcastle University are really big on engineering, chemical, marine engineering, and others. We're also 7th for media and film studies, and the great thing about this is we actually have the BBC in Newcastle, and sometimes students have the opportunity to be able to intern with them. We're 4th for pharmacy and pharmacology, 11th for electrical and electronic engineering, and this is from The Guardian 2020, so this is quite current. We're also number 1 in the UK for creative writing, 3rd for communication and media studies, 8th for marketing, 12th for environmental sciences, 4th for agriculture. Recently, when I visited Newcastle in March, I was able to meet a representative from the House of Reps who had been sent to Newcastle University to kind of do some research on agriculture, so which is really, really good. We're 2nd for anatomy and physiology, 2nd for art and design, and 13th for accounting and finance. So a whole lot of people feel we're more of like a science-based university, but we're also big on things like accounting, finance, management, and law. And our law school is actually one of the top 5 in the UK. So like I mentioned earlier, we're really, we've received gold for our teaching excellence framework, which most of you will be familiar with. One thing that is good about the Newcastle University Business School is that we have triple accreditation. So what does this mean? This means that out of this triple accreditation, only 90 business schools in the world actually have it. So if some Hello? Oh wow, did you guys lose me for a few minutes? Hello?
Hi, Halima.
Hi, I'm so sorry. I was literally just talking and talking.
No, that's
Okay.
okay. It just froze. It's okay. It's probably the network. Okay. Oh, good. Hello?
I think it's back now. I'm so sorry.
Hi, Halima. We can see you.
Okay, awesome. I'm going to share my screen now.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it. Academic support. Yes.
Awesome. I don't know where I stopped, but just because of time, I will continue from here. I was just talking about the academic support that we offer our students. We have undergraduate courses, postgraduate courses, and postgraduate research. Usually, most of our undergraduate courses are 3 years, but sometimes it might be 4 years for those courses which you can have a placement year. But for medicine and dentistry, it will be 5 years. For postgraduate courses, which is our master courses, it's usually 1 year, and then for our postgraduate research, it's usually 3 to 4 years. We put together the different faculties. We have the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Faculty of Science, Agriculture and Engineering, and Faculty of Medical Sciences. These 3 faculties are actually very popular with Nigerian students, and I've noticed this from when I started in January. I'll just go quickly through the courses. We have architecture, planning and landscapes, arts and cultures, education, communication and language sciences, geography, sociology and politics, modern languages. Under this faculty, we also have the Newcastle Law School and the Newcastle University Business School. The great thing about the Newcastle University Business School is we have a campus in London, specifically for the business school, and also in Newcastle. So for students who don't necessarily want to study any business-related course in Newcastle, they're able to take that course in London, in our London campus. Like I mentioned earlier, we also have the Newcastle Law School, and our law school is actually top 5 in the UK. We have the Science, Agriculture and Engineering faculty, SAGE. In Newcastle, a lot of people use a lot of acronyms, which the students become familiar with once they come on board. This faculty, I feel, is most popular with Nigerian students that I've encountered. We have engineering, chemical engineering, civil engineering, electrical and electronic engineering, marine technology, renewable energy. We also have the natural environmental science courses, which has agriculture, biology, chemistry, food, marine science. Under this course, under this faculty, we also have mathematics, statistics, and physics, and also computing. And the great thing about all our faculties and the courses that we offer is we actually do have partners with organizations who, some of them are actually on campus, like for the engineering, we have Mercedes, we have McLaren. So the students are actually able to interact with all these employers even before they graduate, which is the amazing thing. And then with computing, we also actually have people who create games actually come to us to actually employ students before they go to other universities. So this is actually an advantage that we have against other universities when it comes to the different faculties. For medical sciences, we do offer courses such as biomedical and biomolecular sciences, dental sciences, food and human nutrition, medical education, psychology, pharmacy, sports and exercise science, and research institutes. For the sports and exercise science, we do offer some scholarships, but we also try to inform the students that it's not just about being academically sound, you have to also show that you're playing for maybe like a national team. But if we have students like that, we are very, very much interested in providing scholarships for them. I'll go quickly through the national centers. So Newcastle University is known for 3 huge national centers. We have the National Center for Energy Systems Integration, we have the National Innovation Center for Data, and National Innovation Center for Aging. So very quickly, what does this mean? It means that if any organization or any other university needs any kind of specific data with respect to getting data for maybe how are people shopping or what are people looking at, they do come to Newcastle University to get these results. So this is really good because we have 3 national centers in the university. So usually our lectures would be 1 to 2 hours and will take up to 300 students, but due to the pandemic ravaging the world right now, that won't be happening. A lot of things are being put in place to ensure the safety of all students, which I'll discuss afterwards. This is not in the slides because things keep changing, but we do also have seminars of small groups within 1 to 2 hours, and this is just to also discuss what has been taught in the actual lecture that had contained 300 students. This helps the students to be able to, assimilate and kind of ask questions that they may have had that they couldn't really ask in the large lecture theatre. A lot of our courses actually offer practical sessions. For this year, we might be scrapping some of our courses that aren't able to literally support all the rules that the government is putting in place to mitigate the pandemic. So some courses might be cut off. So courses in the sense whereby practicals involve maybe touching people might be scrapped. Well, I will provide that information as the school makes those decisions. For every student, they assign a personal tutor. So we have put international students into consideration. They're coming from a new place. Most of them might not actually have been to the UK before. So we ensure that each student is assigned a personal tutor for you to go to. You're able to book appointments with the tutor to ask questions or, to ensure that you're progressing in your studies. We also have something called the Uni Buddy. It's a buddy scheme that was created where you can have a mentor if you're having issues with accommodation, if you're having issues with, just settling in Newcastle. This mentor will be able to help you with everything. During the Welcome Week, a lot of resources are being shared about what we offer. We like our library, which is 24 hours access. But not only that, you can have access to your library from the comfort of your home with having access to about 6 million ebooks. We have a writing development center, a language resource center, mass aid center. And the great thing about this is all of this is in literally one location. So usually when in most campuses they tell you if you have an issue maybe and you need to see the career center, they'll probably, okay, so go to that place, go to that department, or go to that you know, it's probably 5-10 minutes away. But in Newcastle University, all our resources that we provide to you are literally in one location, so it makes it easy for you. I'll quickly talk about student experience. Like I mentioned earlier, we're ranked top 5 in the UK for student satisfaction. We have over 200 societies, and we have a Nigerian society as well, and an Afro-Caribbean society. For the student union, recently a South African student is actually the president, which is really, really good. We have over 60 sports clubs. We have sports centers that are available to all the students where they can, you know, take exercise classes and those who are really fitness conscious. We also have a career service, which is very, very important. I tried to talk a little bit more about this. Our career service is able to provide you guidance on what kind of jobs you want to apply for, giving you CV and application advice, how to write personal statements, and this is actually from the onset. So we actually encourage students to visit the career service as often as they can and not leave it till really late when they're about to graduate. There's something that we also offer is called the Startup Entrepreneur Scheme, and one of our students, Ngozi, who's a Nigerian student, actually got on this scheme, and I'll quickly describe it. Basically, she applied for a biomedical course, and she decided she didn't want to go into a 9-to-5, and she found a gap in hair products for Africans, and she was able to go to the career service, and they were able to offer her advice on how to start up a business. We were able to move her from a student visa onto an entrepreneurship visa, and right now we're able to also help her create a website, and she's launched her product, and she's now looking to expand beyond Newcastle. So this is something that we also offer for students, but we always encourage students to actually ask quite early. Like I mentioned earlier, we're really, really big on sports. Out of all other institutions, we're 9th overall out of 160. We're 7th within the Russell Group universities, and some of you are here right now. We have a boat club that is very popular. So why choose Newcastle? First of all, Newcastle is in the north, and I tell people the further up north you go, the cheaper it becomes. A lot of people don't know about this, but Newcastle, we actually have our own airport as well. So you don't necessarily have to go to fly maybe into Heathrow or Gatwick in London before getting a train to Newcastle. If you do wish, you could actually travel directly to Newcastle, and it's literally 20 minutes away from campus. But if you do decide to travel to London, it's 2 hours, 50 minutes by train, and you can get direct trains as well. So this is just a map of where we're located, just skiing through that. So Newcastle is a lively, compact city. Students ranked us the 4th best city to live in for What Uni Student Choice Award in 2019. We're 3rd most affordable student city in the UK. So we actually have students from, neighboring cities coming into Newcastle to have a good night out and things like that, because things are much, much cheaper. You have student discounts that are available all over the city. It's one of the safest and friendliest cities in England, because a lot of people ask, oh, are they going to be friendly? Like, am I going to be the only Black person? Are there Africans there and things like that? And these are questions that, that we answer, and we just try to tell students that, no, there are other African students, and I'm actually going to go into that later. So like I mentioned earlier, Newcastle is one of the most affordable student cities in the UK. Usually, I know the UKVI kind of provides the guidance on how much students should have in their account to live, for their living expenses and accommodation and things like that. So for undergraduates, we have, based on a 9 months of study, £9,500 to £10,500. While for postgraduate, we have, based on a 12-month study, students should budget £12,000 to £13,500. Yeah, so David and I just like to show how cheap you can get lunch. The amazing thing is, literally, the city center is 5 minutes, a 5 minutes walk away from campus. So these are just some places in Newcastle that people visit. I know someone earlier had talked about Harry Potter. the castle, I think it was Bamber Castle, is where they actually shot the Harry Potter movie. So a lot of people kind of visit there. So we have about 25,000 students on campus, and out of the 25,000, 5,000 are actually international students, and we have over 120 nationalities represented. I was going to share a video, but I'll just skip through that. How to apply. Okay, so for undergraduate courses, usually you have to apply through UCAS, which most of our students do know. For people who don't apply to UCAS on time, the deadline is usually 30th of June. You're able to go through the clearing process. But if you go through the clearing process, so most of the courses may have been filled up. So we do encourage students to please try and apply before the deadline. For postgraduate courses, this is done directly on our portal on the Newcastle University website. We do encourage students to please upload all their supporting documents like the academic transcripts and degree certificates, their data page of their passport, their English language test results. There's also something else that we usually ask for, which is proof that you've been taught and assessed in English. A lot of students do not understand why we ask for this, because most of them say English is, our first course, our first language in Nigeria. We're trying to work around that and see how we could actually get a more seamless process for students. So for entry requirements, for undergraduate study, usually typically is ABB at A level or 32 points in IB. Postgraduate taught entry minimum typically is 2-1 honors degree, and a postgraduate research entry requirement is minimum typically is 2-1 honors degree with a master's degree. I would let you know that we have given offers to students who do not actually meet this requirement. So we do encourage students to kind of talk about their, not just their academic history, but also if they have any work experience and things that they're doing. So just in case you have students who do not get the ABB or the minimum entry requirements that we have listed on our website, they still can actually apply to us. Now, for the English language requirements, for Newcastle University, we never used to accept WAEC or NECO, but right now we do, which is really, really good. So if you have a C5 in English WAEC or NECO, you do not have to take an English test. You would only be required to take an English test if you have below a C5 in WAEC or English. So the tests that we actually offer accept IELTS. Right now, due to the pandemic, and IELTS has been, cancelled till further notice, we're accepting TOEFL, the special home edition. I can provide the links to all of these links to you once I'm done. Quickly on the tuition fees, undergraduate courses, depending on the course, the range is £18,000 to £22,800 per year. And for the postgraduate top courses, it's £18,000 to £24,000 per year. But for the exact fees per course, we would encourage you to visit our website. Great. We have something called the Nigeria scholarships. We have the 100% scholarship, but that has actually been offered to a Nigerian student. So I'm really, really, really happy about that, whereby we provided full tuition fees to the student, 100%, but the only thing that the student has to cover is actually their accommodation and living expenses, but we've offered full tuition fees. The other scholarships that we have available, we've actually set aside £80,000 for Nigerian students only, but it depends on the course that you apply for. So the courses listed here are the courses that we are offering the scholarship on, and it's £4,000 off the tuition fee. So if you apply to any of the courses listed, MSc Operations, Logistics and Supply Management, I don't know if you can all see it, up until MSc Electrical Power, you're able to get £4,000 off your tuition fees. We also have something called the International Family Discount. So if you have a cousin, a brother, or sister who's already studying in Newcastle University, you're able to get 10% off your tuition fees per year. We also have something called the Alumni Discount. So if you have anyone who's actually studying Newcastle University, maybe they did their undergraduate course and they're looking to do a postgraduate, or they did a postgraduate and looking to do a postgraduate research, then they're able to get 20% off per year. I mentioned earlier that Into is our foundation school partner. The building is literally beside the university, and they offer courses such as architecture, biomedicine, biology, and pharmacy, humanities and social sciences. You can also get an international graduate diploma in architecture and landscape architecture, and business and humanities. For accommodation, all our international students are guaranteed accommodation. We are working with all our accommodation partners to ensure that social distancing, self-isolation, and quarantine is able to take place. We did send an email to all our offer holders recently regarding applying for accommodation, but I'll be sharing more details maybe when we get into the Q&A session. Great thing about accommodation is you don't have to get a bus. You can literally walk from your accommodation onto campus. It's literally 10 minutes, so you save a whole lot of money. We also offer a variety of choices for students. Accommodation, we have catered and self-catered, ensuite or shared bathroom facilities, mixed gender or single gender, accommodation for couples and families, and we actually have accommodation that is solely dedicated to postgraduate students alone. Accommodation is really, really cheap compared to other cities. You can get accommodation for as low as £300 per month. So the range is usually between £300 to £650 per month. And when you compare that to other cities, it's quite maybe double or even triple that. So that's all from me. Those are my details. And I'd like to see if anyone has any questions, and I'll be able to take that at the right time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Halima. So we're going to move on to Gary from University of Exeter.
Hi, thank you. I'm going to keep this really, really short, just because I know everyone has already kind of spoken, so I won't take up too much time at all.
Thank you, Bo.
So hopefully you can see my screen now.
Yeah.
Really, I'm not going to talk too much about the University of Exeter in itself. In fact, if students and parents want to go and look at kind of the rankings that we have at the university, obviously we're also a part of the Russell Group. And if I'm honest, you can pretty much do all kind of that research through either newbie education or online. I don't think I have to sell it too much. So I think the University of Exeter kind of really just sells itself. So I really kind of just wanted to focus on how we're reacting to the COVID situation presently. It's an incredibly uncertain time for the whole world. So at the moment, our university campuses are closed for all our teaching, and everything has moved online. So all of our students have actually just completed all their examinations, all very successfully, which is fantastic. It's an incredibly fluid situation, so you're going to have to bear with us, and I guess all the rest of the universities around the world, because things are changing very dramatically, and it's really hard to give a very straight and very confirmed answer when, you know, governments are changing their mind, guidelines are changing all the time. I did just put in a quote which was from our Vice Chancellor, from Sir Steve Smith, about how he says, "I don't think any of us will have lived through a crisis quite like this. And now there are fundamental changes to our daily lives. We are committed to welcoming new students and returning students later in the year, and we absolutely are sticking to our commitments." So what support are we offering students at the moment? Kind of the go-to resource for all our students who are perhaps have applied or are thinking about applying in the future, we recommend you going online we have a page specifically, an FAQ page on the coronavirus. So that's everything from student support to admission queries. You can find out more information on our coronavirus page, our link here. I'll also pop that link in the chat box a little bit later if you do want to check that out. But this is also updated daily. So we recommend to students kind of checking on it on a daily basis to see kind of what changes have been implemented. So at Exeter, we have a large international student community. We have about 4,000 students that study with us here at Exeter. We do have some international students who are still with us on campus who are unable to fly back home. And we were actually bringing them food in their accommodation. So they weren't able to kind of go out due to social distancing. So we were bringing them food and other supplies through our campus services. And we were also offering them wellbeing support provided online, both for our students who are still based on campus and for our students who have returned home as well. We were also releasing students from their accommodation contracts free of charge, absolutely, if they had decided to return home. And we did, and obviously in terms of support, we have our international student support team, we have our campus services. And actually, when we were talking to students who have actually come and actually spoken to me, our third year, I've spoken to some third year students who have now gone back to their home countries. They actually said it wasn't just the international student support team that kind of gave them guidance and help with trying to get back home, but it was also the lecturers and their professors which gave them a lot of support during this very uncertain time. In terms of support to our community, so here at Exeter, it's not just about the university, it's about how our research, helps our community, it's about how we can support one another and how we can lend that support worldwide. So our academics and some of our technical colleagues actually united together, and we sent thousands of protective equipment, normally used in our laboratories, to the front line of the NHS and our local authorities, in the help to support kind of against COVID-19. One really wonderful story that kind of came to light out of perhaps a maybe not so good situation is our medicine and medical imaging students from the University of Exeter Medical School did in fact opt to graduate early so that they could qualify as junior doctors and diagnostic radiographers to help ease the pressure on the NHS. And they had an online graduation where the Vice-Chancellor actually presented online, which was never done before experience, but it was a fantastic one. And we're really proud of all of our medical students here at Exeter. In terms of what we're also doing and kind of getting involved in as well is we were actually took part in an ITV documentary where the University of Exeter is working with the University of Oxford to help develop the coronavirus vaccine and starting those trial developments. So we're actually taking part in the forefront of the research in terms of developing a vaccine along with our research experts as well at the University of Oxford. Some really good resources. So the undergraduates open day has just passed, but we do have a postgraduate day which you can sign up and register to find out more about our courses that we offer. Like my other colleagues, I could perhaps talk forever and ever about all the different subjects that we have. We have so many here in the UK. It would actually be great if you can register and find out more by signing up to our postgraduate open day. Oh, I do apologise, I think there's some background noise. And also with the postgraduate kind of open day, there's academic presentations, there's info sessions, and there's a live Q&A. So actually you can interact directly with our academics to find out more about the courses that we offer. We also have a UniBuddy platform as well. So when you log on to our website, you can, there's usually a box that pops up in the bottom right-hand corner, and you can talk to our students who already study at the University of Exeter. Actually, some of our students are from kind of Nigeria, Ghana, and all different countries across sub-Saharan Africa. So that's one really good way to find out more. I mean, obviously, I can be a little bit biased and say the university is fantastic. All our universities are fantastic. But why not hear it from the students who actually study at these universities? And we have regular chats. We have Facebook offer holder groups. We recommend you kind of clicking and inviting yourselves to those offer holder groups and talking with other students. And also you have your Africa team here at Exeter. So you can contact us at exeter.africa@exeter.ac.uk. We can help with anything from admissions queries, from scholarships, English language, even just wanting to know a little bit more about the university. We can help provide you with that. This is just a very quick slide in terms of how you want to accept your offer for students who are perhaps still considering whether they want to accept their offer. For our undergraduate students, you either have to make us a firm or an insurance if you are looking to kind of come to the University of Exeter, or you have to pay your deposit if you're a postgraduate student. Kind of if you're holding a conditional based offer, you need to meet the kind of the academic qualification tests, as perhaps maybe your English language qualifications as well. We're really aware that the pandemic is causing difficulties for students to complete their current qualification tests, and at the moment our admissions teams are looking into different ways about how we can accept alternative qualifications, how we might be able to accept predicted grades if you're unable to take those qualifications, because we really don't want to stop students progressing onto courses here at Exeter. In terms of English language, if you're unable to take an IELTS examination, we're very aware that this is the case for most of our international student cohort. We're now accepting Duolingo, TOEFL, IBT, Home Special Edition, the IELTS indicator. These are all online tests which you can do from your the comfort of your very own home, which is fantastic. In order to find out the scores which are required, Newbie Education can also help you with that. But then we can also kind of post you in the right direction with our website here. As mentioned previously as well, we do accept English language tests from the West African Examination Council as well in a first sitting. So those are just some interesting updates, just in case you're unable to take an IELTS. So some of you might be panicking and thinking, but what about accommodation? Well, our deadline for accommodation is the 31st of July, so you still have plenty of time to consider your options, consider whether you still want to go and study abroad at the moment. We know it's a very difficult kind of decision for you to make. And I guess the thing that I really want to emphasise is that the University of Exeter is here to help support you in any way, whether that might be support you progress onto a degree course for next year. We want to help progress you onto a degree course this year, of course, but we want to make sure that you have the right facts, the right information in order to make the right informed choice. And then this brings me to my last slide, I guess, which is flexibility. Our undergraduate students, we are hoping to welcome them in September. We are continuing with the September start date. However, for students who are unable to join us on time, for example, we're not quite sure when international flights will perhaps resume on a normal rota, and students can join us and register online and use the online resources which we are producing. And then we will welcome students whenever they can join us and whenever is possible, and whenever they also feel comfortable to do so as well. That's really important. This is not a forced choice. This is making you feel as comfortable as we possibly can. We will be having an October start date for our postgraduate programmes, and we will be having January start dates for most of our business school programmes as well. So for those who are interested in studying at the business school at Exeter, we were actually just voted the #1 business school in the UK for our graduate prospects. We are offering an alternative both October and January start dates to give you ultimate flexibility. And as with most universities here in the UK, we're also offering a blended online approach. So that means online lectures in large lecture theatres will have to happen online in order to adhere to social distancing guidelines. But it's also a priority to make sure that all our students and staff are taught in a safe space. And then our tutorials, seminars and practical sessions, where possible and where safely can be conducted, those will happen still face-to-face teaching as much as possible. We're also being incredibly flexible with our deposit refunds, with our admissions criteria. The best thing to do is just to get in touch with the university and to see how best that we can help you. As mentioned before, we want to make sure that students can progress to the university, but we also want to make sure that you progress to the university in a safe way, and also making sure that all of your priorities are met as well during kind of this really uncertain time. one thing kind of just to end on, I guess we'll head straight to the Q&A after this, is I know some students will probably be thinking that, is this the right time to still study? Absolutely. I think, you know, if anything, this is going to make you an incredibly resilient student. So already as an international student, you are incredibly resilient. Going to study in a different country is amazing, it's fantastic, and it's quite a difficult thing to do. But to do it in a pandemic, in a worldwide kind of uncertain situation, will make you even more incredibly resilient, which actually, in terms of for looking at future job prospects, it's going to give you the right kind of skills to progress in the right way. So that's kind of what I'd like to end on. Thank you. That's all from me, so I'll stop sharing.
Thank you very much, Bo. So we're going to move on to the last panelist, that's Emma from the University of Nottingham. Hello, Emma.
Hello. Okay. Thanks for having me. Let me just share my screen. Okay. So can you see my slides?
Yes, we can.
All right. Okay, fantastic. So I won't speak too long. I think just very quickly, I'll highlight that as a university, like many of the other universities that have been on the call so far, and I think that's a reflection of, you know, the choice that Newby also offers to those that, you know, want your support, is that we are a member of the Russell Group. We're in the top 100 universities globally in the QS World Rankings. The most recent rankings were released this morning, and we're in the 100 top 100 universities in the world. As a university, we have a really global ethos and global outlook. So we have a global community that's living and learning on campus, and that's both in the UK, in Malaysia, and in China. For undergraduate students, there is a very strong study abroad program for those that want to spend a semester or a year at the Malaysia or the China campuses, or potentially other partners around the world as well. The picture on the screen is our University Park campus, which is the main UK campus, and it's very green. It's been the winner of the Green Flag Award for 16 consecutive years. That's kind of showing you that it's very sustainable, energy efficient, and it's really one of the nicest places to be studying. You come out of your lectures and there's greenery around you. The UK campus is in Nottingham, so that's in the Midlands, and as a city, it's accessible to London, other cities such as Manchester, Birmingham that have also got transport connections, and it's affordable in terms of the cost of living. It's a big enough city that you have everything that you need without being overwhelming. Most people, if they're not living in campus accommodation, will live within walking distance generally to the campus in private accommodation. As a university, we're organised in faculties. So across the left of the slide, you have the 5 different faculties, and there are hundreds of courses across these 5 faculties, from School of Medicine, Veterinary Science, Law, Economics, Business, Engineering. If you follow the URL that is on the screen there, nottingham.ac.uk/go/Nigeria, you can actually link through both to the prospectus, see the course details, as well as other information which will be very relevant to you as a Nigerian student or as a Nigerian parent. Admissions is still ongoing for courses for September 2020, and that's from foundation through to PhD level. And I think when you know the area of interest that you have, I have full confidence that the team at Newby will be able to guide you through that process. As a university, we're known for supporting students from around the world through one of the largest internal scholarship programs. And most deadlines for 2020 have now passed. So if you're looking at 2021, you'll be able to find that there are a range of scholarships available as well if you're applying from Nigeria. I mentioned that we have a global community that's reflected in the student societies. There's a Nigerian Student Society. If you have a particular interest that you'd like to develop outside of your studies as well, you can use this as a space to develop your soft skills, develop your hobbies. We've had people who are doing an engineering degree, but then they get involved in the campus magazine. So one of our alumni went on to work as a technology officer with Uber and eventually was country manager. But if you look at her CV, she also launched Exeter photo competition in Nigeria. And when you go back to her time at university, she was involved in the student radio and magazine. So there's an opportunity to balance your different interests, both in class and outside of class. In terms of the response to COVID-19, we have a dedicated landing page, Nottingham/coronavirus. You can see a lot of detail in terms of what we're doing, both in terms of using our research expertise, equipment, but also how we've reacted to our teaching activities. So all of our current students have transitioned to fully online. Our medical students also graduated early in order to join and support the NHS. We have virtual open days for prospective students, and we are planning to be open in September 2020 for all of our undergraduate courses and the majority of our master's courses. There are a few master's courses that may shift to a January start, and these will be confirmed by Friday, 12th of June this week. So we anticipate that in September, there will be a blended approach. There may not be the same large lectures, but we hope to be able to continue with face-to-face teaching as well. And also to have some flexibility around students that may not be able to travel immediately to join us on campus in September. So there'll be some flexibility for those who might, be able to only come in October or November. And the online blended approach would mean that they're not disadvantaged from that. We have the experience of the China campus, where our campus is now reopened following the lockdown in China, and we're successfully implementing that blended approach with some students that are still studying from home because they haven't been able to resume their studies on campus. So that's just a quick overview from me. Thank you very much for listening. Do feel free to contact me directly or work with the team at Newbie, who are very experienced and very capable in guiding you through your admissions process. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emma. So on behalf of the Newbie Education team, I would like to say a big thank you to all 7 of our panelists. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us in this session and conduct your presentations. Your presentations were very informative and enlightening, and it's clear that your universities plan to reopen in September, and you recognize that you would have a mix of online learning and face-to-face delivery. It's also apparent to us that you're committed to providing all students with a challenging curriculum through this online blending approach. And you're also committed to ensuring the health, well-being, and safety of your faculty and students. If we could now move on to the panel discussion. So I see that some of our parents have put forward some questions that they would like to be answered. So I will just read these out. So, and if the panelists, if any one of you could just give us a shout out as to who would like to answer the question, that would be perfectly fine. So the first question is, hi everyone, I want to ask about the IELTS requirements. I understand that universities are accepting IELTS indicator, Duolingo and others. Will these tests be accepted for visa purposes, or are we required to write IELTS to apply for our visas? So if any one of the panelists could please answer.
Shall I start off?
Yes, please, Charlie. Thank you.
And it might be helpful to have a couple of answers on this because I suspect we have differing approaches. Yeah. So at Kent, the only programme that requires an IELTS for the visa is the International Foundation Programme. It's the 1-year foundation year. None of our other programmes actually require IELTS. We can accept WIAC grades, we can accept a number of other online qualifications. We don't accept the Duolingo specifically, but we do accept almost all of the other new online qualifications. We're running our own free English language test at the moment for students as well. So if you, for any reason, don't have access to one of those other online tests, we're running a specifically designed Kent English test. But for our Nigerian students, to be honest, if you've got WIAC at C6 or above, unless you're doing the IFP, the International Foundation Programme, you do not need to take another English test.
Thank you so much, Charlie. Do we have any other panelists who would like to answer this question?
I just think I'd like to emphasise, I absolutely agree with Charlie there. If you're a direct student heading onto any undergraduate or postgraduate programme, it is the university which is your your sponsorship. So that's why you can do an online test and we can accept that, as long as just double check, because each university might be slightly different about what they want to accept. So make sure you just go online to that university's website to double check that they are accepting that online test. If you're doing an international foundation programme, you will have to do an IELTS, which is a UK immigration and visa requirement.
Thank you so much. So Emma of Nottingham, I see our panelists have also, put some website links to the English language requirements, as well as COVID-19 response updates. So if our parents and students who joined in the session could please check the chat box, to visit the landing pages for COVID responses. Please note that this session has also been recorded, so the newbie team will forward to each participant the recording of this session. Okay, so I'm going to move on quickly to the next session, to the next question, because we have actually gone beyond our time on Zoom. So the next question is, if I start an online course this September, and I want to transit to physical classes in January, but I have a visa refusal, what happens next? So if we could have anyone answer this question, please. So basically you start an online course, then face-to-face classes resume, you then apply for your visa, the application is unsuccessful, what happens next? Okay, so I see a message from Winston.
That was in regards to in regards to the question before. I was just providing an update in regards to Duolingo, because we accept it at the ISC at foundation level, but we don't accept it for degree level and above for direct entry. But in regards to the question, if you were to start online and you were to be the visa was rejected, so at the ISC we have got a refund policy in place. Basically, whereby if a student was to start online and was unable to attain a visa, you will receive a full refund. At direct entry, so at the degree level, at the moment, the plan is to go for blended learning. So there isn't that contingency in place at the moment, because we are expecting students to be on campus. However, we are still discussing it with the university as to what we will do in that scenario. But as I mentioned, as for study group, in terms of the foundation level, you will be given a full refund if your visa is rejected when you're moving on to campus, if you're moving on to campus.
Thank you so much, Winston. Okay, so if I could ask if we have any additional questions from our participants. Okay, I've actually had 2 questions come in just now. The first one is, will the challenges posed by COVID-19 have an impact on the implementation of the graduate immigration route? So that's the post-study work visa.
I don't mind going first on this.
Yes, please,
the UK government actually did release a statement saying that they were going to go forwards with the graduate immigration route. They were still, they're still living up to their bargain at their end. So they released a statement just a couple of weeks back saying that they were still going forward with the graduate immigration route. However, the finalised details are still yet to be kind of ironed out, as COVID-19 is taking priority at the moment, but it is still going ahead for students who join us this September, and that has what has been kind of released by the UK government. So students should feel reassured that, you know, they will still be entitled to that GRE kind of GIR route. Like that's still fine.
Thank you very much, Bo. And I have one question. So the inquirer is asking, how will health and safety be managed once on-campus learning resumes? So how will health and safety be managed, perhaps in accommodation or in theatre halls, etc., once students are able to resume on campus? So I think they're asking, I don't know, are there going to be temperature checks? You know, once students travel into the country, would they need to be quarantined for a few days? Would they need to, you know, be tested, etc.? Sorry, Melissa, did you want to answer that?
Okay. What I would say at the moment, whilst this isn't necessarily the answer for September, is that obviously as the guidance regarding social distancing and the requirements in the UK change, so will our response in line with that. So, for example, at the moment, our campuses are closed. This week, we're actually at Southampton allowing some limited people back into our laboratory facilities based on adherence to social distancing and some quite significant other personal protection equipment requirements. But we're doing that because of the need for those particular people, particularly linked to the research that they're conducting linked to COVID. When it comes to our students, that is why, at least I'm sure colleagues will share this, that is why many universities cannot currently say categorically what will happen with accommodation in September, because if we were housing our students now, we would have a very limited capacity for accommodation based on the social distancing requirements. However, as we all know, and as you're experiencing in Nigeria, as lockdown is relaxed and as requirements are understood to not be so stringently required, we can do more. That said, I think the message from the whole higher education community is that we are always putting the safety and well-being of our students and staff first. Everything we do is to ensure that they are kept safe. That's why we're all working remotely. It's why for many international offices, I'm sure we'll be some of the last people back to campus, in terms of our ability to work remotely is quite advanced, and therefore if we're trying to enforce social distancing and ensure the safety of staff, if you're not necessary on campus, then you shouldn't be there. We, as I mentioned in my presentation, we will still be offering a meet and greet service, but obviously at the moment, we don't know what that will look like. We do not want to encourage students to arrive and then get on mass public transport to get to the university. So we're currently working directly with Heathrow and Gatwick and a number of transport providers to make sure that we can ensure the safety of our students when they step foot on UK soil. So I know the answer is a bit of a wait and see, but it's important, like I said, about the university social media accounts, about looking at those pages that everyone's been sharing in the chat, where we update regularly. If there's any update, we send it straight out to our offer holders and we put it onto our websites. So we are doing everything we can to keep your loved ones that are coming to the UK safe.
Thank you very much, Melissa. So I'm now going to pass on to Mrs. Rosa Monobi, the Newbie Education Executive Director, who will give her vote of thanks.
Thank you, Anne-Marie, and thank you for the panelists. I left out one thing before when I spoke, which will be very, very useful to the parents. Newbie is committed to helping our students realize their educational dreams and aspirations. One of the ways we do this is to assist parents that have good jobs and very good income, but cannot put down the whole school fees. They have good jobs, but they are unable to pay upfront the fees. So we are partnering with FCMB, one of the leading banks in Nigeria, with 200 branches and over 3.7 million customers. So they are assisting us with this event we are doing, and they are also assisting parents who have good jobs and think that they need bridging finance. So you may be talking to FCMB closer to you for that. I think it's a good gesture. Now we thank everybody who is here today. Our partners, we are very, very happy. We don't take this for granted. We know we are very busy at this time, and for you to spend 1.5 hours with us and our parents, we are very, very grateful. We thank the participants, the parents. Our parents, we are always very proud of you because we are very happy with your contribution to Newbie Education. Your word of mouth that has contributed so immensely to our success story. We are very glad to be part of your success stories as well. And then we thank all the Newbie Education staff who have worked tirelessly to put this together. And Marie and her team. Tokumbo, our IT guru, and our digital marketer, Olumide. We say a big thank you. And a big thank you goes to FCMB, whose marketing support contributed to the success of this meeting. So we say thank you so much. Just to let parents know and students, just to let you know that we are still here to help you. So like Marie rightly said, we forward the recordings of this to you. And also, if you want to get virtual meetings with our partners, please let us know. We can arrange that for you. Let us know, we can arrange that for you. So if you require further information. Now that you have heard from the horse's mouth, so we want to see the applications rolling. Thank you very much and have a good afternoon. Bye.
Thank you very much, Ma. So sorry, before we all leave, I see one parent has put in a question. She says, my child has US education. She's currently in her first year studying biomedical science. Can she apply to study medicine directly at a UK university? And anyone can go ahead and attend to that.
I think that will differ amongst different medical schools in the UK. I can only speak on behalf of Exeter. And in the UK, there is a cap in which international students can study medicine. So at the University of Exeter, this is something to bear in mind when considering this. We only have 10 spaces available, so it's extremely competitive to apply for a place. for medicine in the UK. And there is a possibility with a US education, and most UK universities will look at worldwide qualifications when assessing whether a student can apply to medicine. But we would also have to have we would have to look at all the qualifications as well to see whether they would have the requirements such as biology and chemistry previous to that, and kind of maybe what components they've studied during the first year of their US biomedical degree. I guess the best thing to do is probably speak to a newbie first. Maybe the student wants to have a look at maybe what university she's interested in, and then get in touch with the right kind of panelist on this, because I think each university will have a slightly different entry criteria and process to medicine. But it's definitely a possibility. It's just making sure that we've kind of got all the information to put together a decision.
Thank you very much, Bo. So just reiterating what the Newbie Education Executive Director stated, we are so grateful to each and every one of our panelists. We are thankful to our parents and students for joining in this session and spending your precious time with us. And after the session, we will forward the recording and contact details of any one of the partner university representatives that you would like to have one-on-one discussions with. So we wish you a wonderful afternoon, and thank you once again. Bye-bye.